Hi guys, what's up? I hope everybody is doing good. And the last two videos that we uploaded about preparation for audit and EIS-SM have helped you to make a beginning. Also, to top that up, I gave only the plan in the last video. Now I want to give you something more. This is actually very important, and yeah, it did take a little effort to compile stuff like this. But yeah, you can see I've put in there the last 5 attempts weightage patterns. Now, if you are wondering why the total is about 90, now what you are thinking is that we got to just write the descriptive for only 70, but in here, why is the total something about 90? Now, this is what it is, including choice. So the possibility of questions being asked from all the chapters, and as you can see, every chapter it's almost full. Now, why do I call 14th one the other standards? Generally they're covered in the beginning, but now something which doesn't fall in the flow, I've put them towards the end where 5 standards are there. I think this part already in my previous video I have explained you how to break down the syllabus into 4 parts. This is your part 1, very important chunk, right? This one right here is your part 1, and then we are talking about company audit and audit reports as your part 2. Vouching, verification and special audits are our part 3, while banks, computerized environment, other miscellaneous standards which you're not covering, that we are calling as part 4. So this one here, part 1 as such, that has a real significance because you can see there the range is anywhere between 25 to 45 marks. Now you are seeing that almost in every attempt, but for 1 or 2 questions not coming from sampling or analytical procedures, which are smaller chapters, questions have always been asked from every chapter. So if anybody is thinking of doing any selective study, I think you should drop that idea right away, because that's not a good idea. But what we can do is definitely plan the way you can deal with these kind of things. Like, one odd attempt, Companies Act went up till 15 marks, and one odd attempt you can see it's only 4 marks. Maybe a questions came in MCQs or something like that, but you can still pull off an average weightage of 10 marks. If you have heard me carefully in my previous video, I did tell that the kind of effort that we put for the first 7 chapters and the kind of effort that we put for these 10 and 11, and if you'll be surprised to see that a lot of questions from audit report has come. Now May 22 has been an offbeat paper. I am going to discuss that paper in my next video. As to, of course, there are a lot of people who didn't qualify that paper at all. There is a lot of negativity surrounding that paper. The reason for that is something that I understand. People expected audit to be a very usual and a regular paper, but questions came a little offbeat. Many questions from Caro have come, many questions on audit report. You can see it, what normally is being asked in the first few chapters, they have been asked, but when it comes to balancing out from special audits and other cases, they have just gone on to put more questions from Caro, Companies Act. So there, roughly around 24 marks, you can see it there, right? Anyway, I just want you to understand a pattern of what you can see here, right? There is one true or false question almost coming from every chapter here from 1 to 8. Generally, that is what is happening. So if I can take 2 marks straight out of that, if you are strong in concepts, you don't have to break your head, you can definitely get that. Now, when you see a total of 4 or 6 in each one, 6 is basically a 2 marks true or false and a 4 marks question, or probably 3 marks questions. I think that's a rare feat where they're asking 2-3 marks questions from the same chapter. A little rare, but from what I observed, because like I said, I put up all these 5 papers. In fact, I did go back few more attempts, but I don't think that will set as a trend to serve the purpose. So I'm really not interested in doing that. And this goes by, giving us an idea as to how these 90 marks. Now, let me just get to the same plan that I have already explained you in how to break the syllabus and go on it. I'm going to elaborate a little more on that. You will continue with the first part, but the first part's weightage is anywhere between 25 to 45 marks, and you can clearly see chapter 3 is somewhat a very, very important chapter, because you have a lot of 5 series standards in that. It's a question on audit evidence and all that. Internal control is anywhere ranging between 9 to 10 marks. One odd attempt, you can see there, only 3 and 2 marks questions, only once that happened. Probably, again, like I said, questions might have come from MCQs, but otherwise it's a very, very important chapter. And in that lot, one question is definitely asked always from sampling and analytical procedures. I think they both, I don't consider them to be real chapters. so you can focus on that. And getting back to the basics, you can see how planning chapter is important. Definitely one 4 marks question is being asked. That's flat out, you can see there. Maybe it could be a question on planning, audit strategy, materiality. Any of these questions are definitely being asked. And it goes a little above when you talk about the first chapter. I think nobody misses the first chapter. Your fundamentals and basics are pretty clear, so I don't think that should create any issue or a problem for it. So if you can go by just totaling up something here, the range that you can see on an average is about 40 marks. Okay, that 40 marks might not, again, like I said, I gave you a range of 25 to 45, but an average of 35 to 40 is being asked every single time. So that is what the first conclusion is and your first part is. So what I suggest you do is start with the basics and then focus more on chapters 3 and 4. Lot of standards are there in chapter 3. Internal control, the white topic, you might want to spend time on chapters 3 and 4. They are going to take a little time for you to do it in detail. And then you can come down to simple chapters, fraud, audit, sampling and analytical procedures. They're not going to take much because they're all a single agenda chapter. There's only one point being mentioned in what it is, and you just got to get that done there. Then we move on to our part 2, which is about company audit and audit report. Now this sounds very simple because you might have focused very well in class, and you got revision videos on this, and we have also put up revision videos in the playlist. If you go by our playlist itself, majority of your problems are solved. But if your concepts are not clear, then I don't suggest you should go by blindly taking up something here, right? Audit report and CARO 2016 it says, but it's CARO 2020 right now, so you can like I just amended to 2020. So there the company auditors report order plus the 4 standards and these sections from 139 to 148, they do make a great deal. Okay, on an average you can see 7 to 10 marks being asked from company audit, plus I don't know how many are coming in the MCQs. Okay, and also 6 to 10 marks are there. Now though we have been talking about 30 marks on an average here for these chapters, you can see this very clearly. Only 2 chapters, but it can get you anywhere between 15-20 marks. And the more you revise and more you're strong with these, you can get your marks. Because I hate to say the fact that this 2 chapters, vouching and verification, an average weightage of like 20 marks is there for these 2 chapters put together, but they are very, very procedural. I'm also going to leave a link of the playlist of the entire revision series, and in that one of the videos talks about how to handle these 2 chapters. And if you are thorough with what I tell in that particular video, and if you have the basic knowledge of what concepts are being discussed in special audits, because LLP audit, cooperative society audit, or the audit of all other institutes, government audit, like they are very procedural. You don't, or you can't simply always try to get the exact word that are there in the book. So you got to write. And also same thing applies to vouching and verification, which is audit of items in financial statement. They're pinpointedly asking you items. I have also given a technique on how you go about that. So if you watch that video, I think it's about a 1 hour video, and that will give you a fair idea on how to do that. And you can be rest assured that of these 18 to 20 marks, you are at least getting 10 to 12 marks on a safer side. Now the last lot, the reason why we put there is of course one question of 4 marks and 2 marks, generally compulsory. So audit of banks and audit of computerized environment, you can choose to do them towards the end without any, without complicating much. When you do things normally, that'd be good enough. So this part, as you can see, as an average weightage of these 3 chapters put together, anywhere between 12 to 20 marks. I've put up on the higher side, but it's never gone anywhere beyond 5 to 7 marks in each chapter. So that can be there. And the last few, some of you, I don't know what syllabus pattern you follow, but I'm talking about standards 220, 250, 299, 550 and 710, because not that they are covered anywhere in the beginning chapters. So you might as well bother about those chapters towards the end. So this is the weightage pattern, and that is also one of the reasons I asked you to break the syllabus into 4 parts. This video is just to substantiate the fact that in my previous video, the plan I gave you for breaking the syllabus into 4 parts and it goes well is because they have the weightage also in the same lot, and this goes on to prove that. Now one odd paper like May 22 can be an offbeat paper. You'll see these are some things that you generally don't see. 20 marks coming from one chapter, right? This is an average, so not a big deal, and something that generally be asked for 10-12 marks not being asked so much. So it's a little juggle here and there, and one odd time it can happen. I will discuss May 22 paper as well, and which will help you understand what should you do to prepare and present it properly. So I'm going to come up with those presentation videos as well. So spending these 10 minutes, I hope it has given you an insight of what chapter has how much weightage and what order to follow. Again, to wrap up, this is your part 1. Focus more on that because you are having a weightage high one there, and then do not at all in any case forget the next 2, company audit and audit reports, and then you can have your own ways to deal with the last 2 parts, because there is a lot of procedural content in that, which once or twice if you revise you should be able to do well. I hope this video has helped you get an insight of what the weightage is in audit. I will soon come up with a video which describes the May 22 paper, wherein we will talk about what the paper was, what should have been the answers, why many people failed that particular paper, and what should you avoid in the next coming things. We will see. I don't think a weightage video is essential for strategic management and EAS. That's what generally I feel, because almost every question, every chapter has a question coming from that, and equal weightage. So there is no really a need, but I'll see if it's kind of possible to pull off something information which I believe will help you. I will bring that also to you in my next video. Keep grilling hard, guys. Study well, because this is the time that you have to give your 100%. And or even more than that, because you got to keep your motivation high and get going. So I try and keep bringing you these kind of videos that tells you where your effort has to be channelized. Now that you're putting a lot of time, if you channelize in the right direction, it's going to get you good results. I hope this video has helped you. If so, please do share it with your friends, because they're also supposed to know that I'm not running behind the fact that we need to make sure that we share our videos and all. But this one definitely is an important thing, because this can give a proper direction to your preparation, and which is why exactly I told you. Those of you who have not watched the last 2 videos, I'm leaving those links in the description, and also the links to the playlist that will help you revise. You can get onto all that, and there's more coming on the channel. So watch out and have a great day, guys. Thank you.